Welcome, everyone. This is Up Your Rank FPL. We are your hosts. I'm AC. That's Bri, bringing you a different kind of episode today because game week 5 is midweek. Here's what we're going to talk about to get the show started. Game week 4, get it off your chest. Game week 4, team reveal. Game week 5, transfer options. Game week 5, team reveal. Game week 5, captaincy options. Stay tuned. Bri, my guy, game week 4 has come to an end, and game week 5 is literally in 2 days. It is a tight turnaround, so we're squeezing 2 typical videos together. Just a heads up to our viewers, stay tuned with respects to a little bit of a format change. We're going to be dropping an extra video after these hectic game weeks pass us. We'll comment on Twitter. You can see what we're talking about, and you'll see how the format will change within the next week or so. But Bri, game week 4 has ended. Get it off your chest. Wagwan, how do you feel?
Listen, man. Well, the one thing I'm happy about, bro, is we're getting football games coming at us very quickly. I love the quick turnarounds. I love when there's midweek fixtures. Could get a little bit of extra football in, during the midweek. And I don't know about you, but I love being able to potentially either roll a transfer in a midweek game and get it come back, really quick. So it's one of those things I like to do. It's been a crazy game week though, man. I want to start personally with just getting some stuff off my chest. The first thing, I'm going to start with the Blues. Conor Gallagher. Bro, what are you doing? You cannot be doing that. He has to learn. I was very upset about him picking up 2 yellow cards so early in the match, put the team under a lot of pressure. And I really feel bad for him because Conte's out injured for the next, they said maybe 4+ weeks. And, it was his time to step up and really cement his place. But he doesn't look like he's really taking that opportunity, and missing games now. I mean, it's just going to hurt him in the long run. I can only imagine what the coach thinks about it because Tuchel's comments were not very kind. Keeping it on FPL, what a game from Liverpool, though. That 9-0 from Bournemouth was a little bit crazy. I just could not believe I wasn't able to watch the game live. So you can imagine a man like me who has Mo captained. I'm getting the notifications coming in on my phone, and I'm seeing, 3 love. Oh, word. Okay. I know Mo has a goal and assist already. 4. Oh, wow. Mo's going crazy today. I'm not looking at what's going on. I'm just seeing the pings, and I'm seeing it. When I saw 7, I was like, oh, snap. He scored 5. That's what I'm thinking, right? I'm like, oh, he must have scored 5. Bro, when I came home and I rewatched the game, I was just getting angrier and angrier as the game was going on, bro. I couldn't believe this guy. Not only did he not score a goal, but he wasn't involved in anything for 90 minutes. That's just crazy. That has to be one of the biggest anomalies that I can remember happening in recent years. The top goal scorer. Like crazy. What are you saying?
Sorry to cut you off there. The last time that happened, it was Kai Havertz when they got the 7 goals. I don't remember who they were facing, and he got nothing.
Bro. I don't even understand how that happened. And you think like a guy like Mo, and he had so many good chances. It just hurt, man. That one for me was the biggest, the biggest one I needed to get off my chest as well. Those 2 games I feel like really kind of shocked me. I love seeing, City go down early. I thought they were going to get take home the L, but they clawed their way back. But City defense is kind of annoying me right now too. That's another one that's really cheesing me. I've been big at the back, and I'm getting a whole lot of nothing coming in for it. So that's just what I want to get off my chest right now, man. How about you? How'd you feel about the game week? What do you want to get off your chest?
There's not too much, to be honest, with you outside of the obvious putting the armband on Mo instead of my vice captain, which was Hallen. I wasn't 100% confident that Palace were going to lose to City. It's they're kind of their kryptonite. So when Palace went up 2 goals and the armband wasn't on Hallen, I said to myself, okay, I think I made the right choice. I'm going to go for Mo. He has 8 goals against Bournemouth in the last 6 fixtures. One of them happened to be a hat trick in one of those games. I'm like, okay, he's gonna get returns. It was the safest and smartest choice. I felt I didn't want to gamble. Unfortunately, it burned us, but I'm not upset because I don't tie my team and FPL together so that I'm emotionally invested. The biggest takeaway is that my team finally got onto a winning foot, and it was in an extraordinary fashion, a dominating fashion. We've tied history with 2 other clubs who've been able to give a team 9-0, and I wanted history. If there's something I need to get off my chest, it's the fact that we didn't score 10 so that we could set the Premier League record and really battery a team so that people know we're here. So sure, sometimes the captaincies don't work. It's my first captaincy fail. I'm sure it's probably your first captaincy fail and a lot of people's first captaincy fail of the year, but it could have been significantly worse. I know some people are probably saying, "Oh, he's supposed to be the best player in the world." Yeah, right. Or things like, Mo Salah's trash." It's crazy how people with one game can have a completely different opinion about a player. 90 minutes, and all of a sudden, who this player has been consistently for years doesn't exist anymore because of one game, even though the season still has 34 more games to go. But everybody who's rushing and selling Salah, it's only a matter of time before he comes with a 4 goal and burns you the week that you sell him. So stay tuned for that. If I have to pick anything else to really get off my chest, it's the fact that Tottenham kept a clean sheet. I didn't want Tottenham to keep a clean sheet. I watched the Nottingham Forest game. Oh, these guys are exciting.
Yeah, I
Oh
like them. I like
my
them.
gosh.
They're good. They're quick on the break too, man. I like them. I like
it's
them.
it's so fun to watch this team now. And Henderson, we all knew what Henderson was when he was with Manu, but now we're seeing him get 90 minutes regularly. He is a joy to watch. But up front, having Gibbs White,
Yeah,
he
it's a
just
good
kind of
signing.
came in and made an instant impact. Poor corner deliveries, but instant impact. I think it's going to be really, really fun to watch them. So I'm not a Tottenham hater. I just felt as though Nottingham Forest deserved to get onto the score sheet. I really liked how they were playing, except for that weird handball that Cook did. That was
That
very,
was
very.
just
That was a little
yeah.
strange one. But
No,
otherwise, yeah. Well,
I
go
like
say
the
what you're gonna say.
I like the fact that the keeper saved it off of that though, because it felt like one of those that didn't really deserve to go in. You know what I
Right?
mean? That's how
But
it
why
felt
did
like.
he? But why did he do that?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
and then trying to act like he got pushed. Kane didn't push you, my brother.
yeah, yeah,
It didn't happen, and everything's on replay. Why don't these players know better? I'm surprised he only got a yellow.
yeah.
But
Legit.
anyways, overall, I'm pretty happy about the game week in and of itself. I'm not too upset. Yes, it could have gone better. I think most people could have gone better when you see 3, maybe even 4 people on your team have double-digit hauls and you don't have the armband on them and you have the armband on Salah or Jesus. But overall, for me, 70 points is the kind of thresholds. Anything over 70, it's really hard for me to be upset about. So not too much to get off my chest.
I love that. I love that. Well, I mean, with that, let's jump into the team. Let's talk about how the teams kind of got on this week so that we can look at some numbers specifically. Why didn't I start with bringing up my team first?
All right, let's do it.
So this is how the team got on for me this week. This has been a very rough game week for your boy. Even though we scored 57 points, I just feel like there were a couple opportunities here that just weren't taken. The team overall, a game week rank, over 6 million, tough game week. That's also kind of, you know, also includes the hit that I took as well. So that's also taken into consideration there. But overall, game week average 62, very high scoring week, and we scored 57. Starting in the back, you know what? I do have to give it to Ward. Ward is easily the most consistent player in FPL that I have ever come across. He has scored 1 point in every single game that he's played, and that's his fourth game running. Man, we need to give that man a hand, a round of applause, because I've never seen such consistency before. I'm serious. Like, he doesn't even manage to maybe get an extra point. It's just crazy. So Ward does his customary 1 point in the back. Cancelo, after leaking 2 goals early, to Crystal Palace, took home 1 point as well. Reece James finally gets a return, even though Chelsea concede. He ends up returning as well to take home 7 points, which is great. I'm glad to see him at least being able to venture a little bit forward. We'll touch on Reece James a little bit as we look at how we're set up for next week, but definitely some great news coming out of the Chelsea camp for him. Trent Alexander-Arnold with the Trent special, giving you the goal, giving you the goal and the clean sheet. I mean,
And the assist.
And the assist, sorry. The goal, the assist, and the clean sheet. The strike, top notch. Arguably, the goal of the week. I got to give it to him. His last game when he played Man U, everybody got at him for his lack of defensive prowess, but again, he kind of answered some of those critics with just how great he can be offensively. I mean, that's Trent at his best, hitting them from long range, back of the net, the keeper has no chance. He was incredible. 17 points. Bailey actually was first on the bench, but due to a injury from Zinchenko, he ended up getting subbed in. There were no reports on Zinchenko being out prior to. I had actually looked at the training videos 2 days before I had brought him into the team. He trained. So it's just one of those things where there was just no news on it. It wasn't reported by any of the Arsenal in the know. So there's really nothing I could do there. I think I'm a little bit annoyed. Of course, Robertson takes home the 9 points, but I'm not so much annoyed with transferring out Robertson for Zinchenko. It more annoys me because I was actually contemplating bringing in Gabriel for a little bit more surety, and Gabriel ends up scoring 9 as well. So it's just one of those, you know what I mean? Toss up decision. They're both, Gabriel was 5 mil, Zinchenko 5.3. Just one of those unlucky decisions, but what can you do? Taking a move on. Bailey, after his heroics, earlier in the week and doing what he does for Villa, gets benched again by Gerrard. I'm convinced that Steven Gerrard doesn't really know what he's doing with this team. They managed to lose again. So, hey, it's just one of those things for him. Mo, we've touched on him, had the armband on him, 9-0 thriller. He's not involved in anything. I don't even know how that happens, but it is what it is. Rodrigo, who I had brought in, didn't pay me back with an immediate return. I thought he looked good, but it was always going to be a difficult game against Brighton. This is one of those transfers where I've put on my sheet a little bit of an asterisk beside it because I want to review in like 3 or 4 game weeks to see if the person who I really tossed him up against was the better decision. And that player returned because it was Pascal Gross. Those were the 2 guys I was looking at. Rodrigo has the better fixtures, but is what it is. Martinelli, 2 points. Jesus, 1 point. Tony, 2. And Erling Haaland, the man who looks like he is really going to be doing this thing for City, takes home a big whopping 17 points in an amazing comeback win for Manchester City. I mean, he looks like he's worth every penny. Andreas and Nico Williams round out the bench with 3 points in total. So overall, game week was a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a major disappointment. Game week was just a little bit of a something I'm just raising my eye to. Got to really see how the team performs this coming week. But overall, we're at four. We're at 4.9 mil. So I guess you can say we're top half of all players, but that's not really good enough right now. I'm actually arguably having one of my worst seasons, but we'll see how we'll turn this around over the next couple of weeks. How about you, AC? Or what do you think? Anything you wanted to touch on with the team so far before you jumped into yours?
Now, you kind of touched on it. It's a little unfortunate with the Zinchenko news. When I tuned into the game and I heard that Zinchenko wasn't even on the bench and there was an injury, uh, the fact that I had known that you had just brought in Zinchenko, immediately I said, oh, shit, that's going to be rather unfortunate, especially because you just took a hit as well. So it always sucks to take a hit for someone who then doesn't play. So then there's no Zinchenko, Rodrigo doesn't return, and then Tony doesn't return. So you got 4 points. You took a -4 and you got back 4. And it's just it's just never a good trade-off, right? So you always want the transfer to make up for itself. So you want the player who you bring in to at least get some type of return. And you were a little unlucky. Mind you, it's Zinchenko. Would they have kept a clean sheet? I'm not 100% sure what was going on, how Gabriel didn't really react quick and let Mitro come in and just take the ball. I don't know. It just reminded me of the Mendy situation all over again. And it's like you guys don't have that much time in the league, in the Prem. Like you gotta move, you know better. But Gabriel made up for it. And yeah, just the fact that 2 people who you were considering bringing in happened to be the 2 people who returned in Gabriel as well as in Gross, because you've been talking about him since like game week 2.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. FPL a game of luck. You know what I mean? They're far, like really fine margins there. I weighed up Rodrigo versus Gross, weighed up Gabriel versus Zinchenko, both the wrong decision there. But it's just one of those things where I didn't have funds to be able to get in Tony, which is who I really wanted, unless I took funds out of the back, and it had to be Robbo. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll keep it pushing on to next week. How'd your game week go?
All right, so bringing up my particular team for game week 4, it's very similar to yours, so I'm not going to highlight too much of the same things. I'm going to just highlight some of the different players. We have Ben Mee in the back, who unfortunately just 2 points. The fact that I brought in a Brentford defender for the fixtures and I didn't bring in the Brighton defender for the same price because I thought Brighton's fixtures were going to be a little bit more tough, absolutely cheeses me. And I think if Ben Mee didn't get that 14-pointer against Man U, I would have never thought to bring him in the first place. I can't say that I wouldn't have brought in a Brentford defender, but I think that 14 points, that recency bias played a part in me not bringing in somebody like the likes of a Lewis Dunk for the same exact price at the time. And that's 2 clean sheets that he's had, I believe, since. So that's a 10-point swing right there for the same cost, nothing big.
Yep.
Kind of frustrating. Sorry, I'm just bringing this back up. They have Crystal, Leeds, Southampton, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brighton. All those teams can score on this team. It's green and there's a couple grays here, but I don't know. And I think that Ben Mee may have to go. We'll bring that up soon. In the middle, the biggest difference that I have compared to your team is Luis Diaz, who had 2 goals. I don't believe he had anything else other than the 2 goals. Yeah, 2 goals and then the clean sheet. And I do believe he had 1 bonus point, so 14 points. I was never thinking about putting the armband on him, so it would have never made a difference. It was always going to go on Salah or Haaland. And the teams are essentially the same. I think you made a comment about James finally returning. James has 3 out of 4 returns, bro. Put some respect on the man. What do you want from him? What do you like? What do you want from him?
You know what I want? All I want from Reece James is for consistent clean sheets. That's all I want. But he's been doing his thing. I need to put some more respect on his name.
Okay,
He's Chelsea's best player by a landslide. So yes, you right. You right.
there we go. On my bench, nothing special. Andreas, Bailey, Nico Williams, who almost had a goal. He's exciting. I am like, I can't talk ish about this team anymore. When they play at home, that crowd energy is different. That's what they were doing against the Spurs.
Yeah,
Different, man. So I'm pretty excited. There's nothing too special about this particular team right now. We have 70 points, game week rank overall 1.28 million. Sorry, not the game week rank. Sorry, that's my overall rank. 1.28 million, and my game week rank, you can see right there, almost at 3 million. It's not a great start. Although I did have a green arrow overall in the world, I did have 2 red arrows in both of my mini leagues where there's money involved. So that's not good. I'm not too far off of the top spot in either of those leagues. I don't believe I'm off by more than 15 points. But 15 points right now may not seem like a lot, but it's only a matter of time before something like that turns into 25, then 35, then 50, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's like, what do you do? So average was 62 points on the week. I had 70, 70. I like I said, I think it's typically an okay game week, especially if it's over the average, but the average was rather high this particular game week. So I didn't really have the advantage. So yeah, it is what it is. Average game week.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Any comments on the team?
No, I mean, I think you covered everything. That Ben Me versus, one of the Brighton defenders, I know is a little bit crazy because you've been talking it up so much. I think you've mentioned Brighton defenders on 2 of your differential teams that you've highlighted before. So I know you're big on them. It's just one of those unfortunate things. But I mean, Diaz is looking electrifying. He looks like the only or one of the few 8.0 players that's really delivering. Maybe him and Kudu with Madison out right now, looking really good. Love it. Team
I will
solid.
I will say that knee jerk reaction that I had bringing him in paid off.
Oh, paid off.
Because remember, I brought him in. Salah blanked, but remember, I was just frustrated with Saka. I didn't want Saka to drop in price, and I almost brought in Gundogan. And although he did return this particular game week, I don't believe he started. He came on and then got the assist.
Yeah,
so he was my other option who I was looking at. I guess it wouldn't have been all too bad, but I'd rather have 14 over 4 any day because I would have been under the average.
Yeah, you're right.
I would have taken a hit and I would have taken Iverson out. I would have brought in Sanchez, but I would have taken the hit. And gotcha. I don't think it would have been worth it. I'm just going to still kind of wait until the wildcard option presents itself. Okay, so that's how my team did overall for game week 4. But before we jump into anything game week 5 related, let's bring up the game week 4 differential team that was created. That for the 3rd week in a row has outscored both of our teams. This shit is getting crazy.
This is getting wild. This is getting real wild.
Here's why this time it's getting real wild, because everybody on the squad was under 10% ownership. Yep. And they still outscored both of our teams. Between the sticks, Rhea, 6 points. Defense, Lewis Dunk, 7 points. Thiago Silva, 2 points. Andy Robertson, 18 points because he had the armband on him. And Rico Henry, 2 points. In the midfield, Gundogan, 4 points. Mr. Ball Hog himself, Phil Foden. Did you hear what Haaland said?
Yeah.
He squared in the ball and he got the assist. Mr. Phil Foden got his 45 minutes in, but he got 4 points. Marcus Rashford, I knew this one was a little bit of a knee jerk for me. 3 points. I don't know why. I'm a stick. Yo, a Man U player is never seeing my actual squad. I'm never bringing in a Man U player on my squad.
If I
Rashford
say
3. Say what?
if I say anything, I get in trouble. I'm in big trouble if I say anything.
So we got Leandro Trossard, 6 points. And then up front, Watkins, 2 points. And then Bobby! Hey! And that's that same laugh.
What a pick.
That's the same laugh you were giving me. And I love it because when I saw that he had those assists, I'm like, yo, this guy's going crazy. And then to top it off with the goals.
Yo, bruh, this guy played his best game he's played in the last 2 years.
Easily.
Easily his best game in the last 2 full years. Full calendar years. That's his best game that he's played in the last 2 full years.
22 points, 3 assists, 2 goals. What? Absolutely Bobby Firmino, under 2% ownership?
He couldn't do anything wrong. I don't know if he could do anything wrong that game if he tried. Couldn't do anything wrong. I'm surprised he didn't just shoot from long range because it would have went in. He couldn't do anything wrong.
Bournemouth were so poor, and I think it's just one of those games where mentally it takes an effect on you, and then the beating just keeps coming and coming and coming. So overall, 76 points from the under 10% differential free hit team, whatever you want to call it. 76 points. This is getting embarrassing, Brian. We are not doing a good job long term. Obviously, we can't free hit or wild card week in, week out. But if you were to, in all of these game weeks so far, we'd be looking silly.
Yep, I agree.
But Bobby has to be my, like, I'm so happy that I picked him.
Yeah, that's a big crazy one of those crazy picks.
Right.
It's one of those crazy ones that I hope you have that same magic when it comes actual free hit time for your squad, because we're definitely going to need that. That's a big pick right there.
Some good practice. Some good practice is coming in right now.
Let's see how your team is set up for game week 5. What do you got? What are you thinking in terms of transfers? How you setting up? What's your captaincy? Talk to me.
All right, so let me bring up my game week 5 team, and let's talk about transfers, team reveal, and captaincy. So my team right now, with respects to the transfers that I'm considering making, are up. But first, let me talk about the top transfers in this game week as of the time of recording. We have Haaland, Luis Diaz, Pascal Gross, Odegaard, and Saliba from Arsenal. The top transfers out: Zinchenko, Salah, Cancelo, Zaha, and Son. Son has already dropped in price twice. This is crazy. When Son heats up, he's going to be a steal. I can't wait to grab Son at an 11.6 or something, and then he flies up to like a 12.8 at some point in time because he gets really, really hot. But for now, focusing specifically on my team, the only transfer I'm considering is bringing out Ben Mee for Dunk. I'm not sure. I haven't actually made my transfer yet. But Dunk is probably who I would bring in for Ben Mee. And it's because they have a fixture against Fulham. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not sold on Mitrovic. Mitrovic's goals are nothing to... It's outside of his 2 headers, the one against Liverpool and the one against... was it Brentford? Yeah, the game-winning one against Brentford. His other one was a penalty. Then he also missed the penalty. And then he got a goal off a mistake by Gabriel. That, to me, is you're not hot because you have 2 headers. Brentford is a decent team in the air as well. They actually hit the woodwork, I feel, more than any other goddamn team in the Premier League this year. I got to find out what that stat is. How many times is Brentford going to hit the woodwork? They're so unlucky. I don't see Fulham, even though Fulham is at home, I don't see Fulham getting on the score sheet. I think Brighton is going to keep another clean sheet. Oh my gosh, I think Brighton has a chance to keep the next 4 games clean sheet. Brighton is playing impeccable defense right now.
I agree
And
with that.
Sanchez actually is playing a part because he's making saves this year. And I could be wrong, but didn't they just bring in a 4.5 defender?
Yes, a Stupian
I have no
played
idea who
wicked.
that is.
He played wicked. Plays
I
on the left hand side. Played
where
wicked.
did he come from?
Somewhere in Spain. I don't
Okay.
remember where in Spain.
No idea who he is, but someone to consider. I might have to go watch some tapes. But I'm considering taking out Ben Mee because Ben Mee's fixtures, Crystal, Leeds, Southampton, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. If I don't make the transfer, I can roll it. And then come the weekend, I have two transfers to kind of figure out what I want to do with my team. Maybe I do a mini wild card. Maybe I do something crazy and get rid of Salah. Who knows? I have no idea. But right now, in terms of the transfer that I'm considering, is Ben Mee out, Lewis Dunk in. But the reason why I'm not rushing to make that transfer, it could be Lewis Dunk or any other 4.5 Brighton defender, just to be clear. But the reason why I'm not looking to make that transfer is because I don't know if I necessarily want to wait until my wild card to get rid of either Ward or Iverson because they're actually pissing me off. I can't do 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and I need two transfers to get them out. So
Gotcha.
if I have the two transfers, then I can look at crazy enough, Cancelo. City would be leaving my team. Not for this
Hmm.
game week, but in prep, it would be for the Villa game week, but in preparation when they face Tottenham and Wolves and United, who let's take out United, Tottenham and Wolves, who may be able to score on City because they're just not playing great defensively. I think they will get a clean sheet against Nottingham Forest at home. So for anyone who's taken out Cancelo, I think it's a bad idea. Cancelo can likely have an attacking return in this game, but he's actually not really a threat. He's not really doing anything. So that's what I would be considering. If I make a transfer this week, Ben Mee out, a Brighton defender in. If I bank the transfer come the weekend, I'll have
Hmm.
two transfers, and then I'd be looking to downgrade Cancelo so that I can upgrade my goalkeeper. Depending on how Salah plays midweek, might affect what I do 2 game weeks from now, come game week 6,
Hmm.
because he's very expensive. The only issue is it's oh my gosh, it's Everton. It's a derby. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to do, but I'm not getting rid of anybody in my front three. And the only person who I just don't see a need to get rid of Martinelli. I don't see a need to wildcard this team out. I don't see a need to downgrade James. I don't see a need to downgrade Trent Alexander. You know what I mean? Like my
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
fires, if I have to pick, like honestly, Bailey could sit on my bench. If he keeps going down in price, so be it. Like he could literally sit there. I'm not rushing to get Nico Williams, Andreas, and Bailey, who all play off of
Off
my
the
bench.
bench.
So it's just kind of weird playing with these funds because I have so much money tied up front in Tony,
Yeah.
in Haaland, in Jesus. So the only way for me to really change this is Cancelo. I'm not getting rid of Tony. Tony has just been unlucky. The wood he's gonna get hot. He's gonna get hot. I'm so upset that he blanked, but that's my transfer. Let me just woosah,
Leave it at that. Okay.
leave
All
it at
right.
that.
How are you going to set up for the week? How are you planning on setting up for the game week?
Oh, bro. Bailey's on the bench, Andreas is on the bench, and Nico Williams is on the bench. The armband is going to be on Salah. And here's why. The Pep Roulette is just so real that I don't know who the heck is going to be playing. Haaland and KDB seem to be the folk who are playing the heavy minutes outside of the defense. Haaland has gotten 77, 73, 90, and 83. Right? They're facing Nottingham Forest. If Nottingham Forest go down early by 2, 3 goals in the first half, is Pep more inclined to say, Haaland, take a break. Take a break. We need you for the season so that when you're facing Villa, we can get another good half. Is that possible? Because of that rotation risk, I never see Salah as a rotation risk. Salah's going to play another 80 plus minutes against where are they facing? Newcastle. And then he's going to play another 80 plus minutes against Everton. And then he's going to play another 80 plus minutes against Wolves. And then he's going to play another 80 plus minutes against Chelsea. And it doesn't stop. And he has no World Cup to worry about.
Yep.
So his minutes are just not in jeopardy. I feel as though in this particular game week, a lot of people are going to be thrown off from Salah and are not going to want to captain him. And Salah, knowing that his teammates all got on the score sheet and he's a very competitive individual, he's going to be upset at himself. And he's going to say, how the heck have I not? I'm the golden boot winner of this league multiple times. How do I only have, how many goals? How do I only have 2 goals and the likes of a Haaland has come in and he's already sitting at like 6, I think. Something crazy. No. He's sitting at 6 goals, my guy.
6 already?
He's already at 6 goals.
God. Oh, yeah. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Bang this week. What am I talking about?
Right. So I just think he's just competitive in that way. And I don't think that Newcastle's defense is impenetrable. I mean, they conceded to Wolves, for crying out loud. And Wolves are not a good offensive team. Who are pretty unfortunate not to get a point out of that after Jimenez got that goal. But that's a whole other conversation that we don't need to have right now. That's how I'm set up. I have first off the bench is probably going to be Andreas, who is facing Brighton. And then Bailey will probably be second off the bench. I think they're facing Arsenal, yeah. And then Nico Williams is going to be third off the bench, and he's facing City. I might swap them, but it doesn't matter because I'm not worried about anybody's minutes. I think Haaland will play. I just don't know if Haaland is going to get a full 70 plus minutes, but it doesn't really matter because this kid can score. He scored 3 goals in a matter of like 21 minutes.
Yep.
So I might switch the armband to Haaland depending on how I feel come Tuesday. But as of the time of recording this video, the armband is on Salah.
Okay. I like it. All right. Looking good.
Okay. Let us know how you are set up for the week.
All right. So from a transfer standpoint, there are definitely a couple of people who I have my an eye on right now. Of course, the big red flag is around Zinchenko, just based on how quickly things happened, the lack of news right now. I am actually going to be holding Zinchenko. The doctor, I guess the doctor came out and said that might have been a little bit precautionary. I don't know if you remember Gabriel's goal, but Zinchenko was there on the sideline celebrating with them in regular clothes, so he seemed to be moving just fine. Hoping it's precautionary and he could get right back into the squad. We will see, but I am going to be holding Zinchenko for now, and then I'm going to be re-evaluating come next game week. As soon as I get more news, I'm going to go from there. I have already made a transfer, however, and the transfer is simply because I am tired of playing with 10 men on my squad. Every single week of the season, I'm playing with 10 men. And the reason why I'm playing with 10 men is because I got the most consistent guy in the world in Ward between the sticks. He has been doing nothing but driving me crazy. I'm tired of it. And so I've actually made a transfer already. We have already brought in the Brighton goalkeeper, Sanchez. We've gone ahead and just bit the bullet. We need to do something to shake things up here and get us moving in the right direction. And part of that is going to be playing with 11 men on the field. For all the reasons that you mentioned in regards to the fixtures that they have coming up. They're going to be playing Fulham next. I think there's a possibility of a clean sheet there. But even beyond that, in the next 4 weeks, they have Fulham, Leicester at home, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace at home. I see the possibility of there being a couple of clean sheets there for Sanchez. If not, he is at least in a position where he's actually earning safe points. So happy to bring him into the squad, hoping that he can have an immediate impact for us. Mm-hmm. But that's the immediate transfer that I made. There's only 0.1 remaining in the bank at this point. So there's not a lot of options that I have available to me. Now, a part of my thinking as it pertains to Zinchenko is he's already gone up 0.1 in price for me. So I have the ability to wait and have him go down 0.1 before I make a decision. Right. So I'm sitting tight on him for now, especially when I have a fully playing and functional bench. So how the team is set up, I will have the back line. It'll be Sanchez in net. I'm actually just going to go to the team page quickly here and just walk you through it. So we're going to be having Sanchez in the back, playing Trent, James, Cancelo, and I'm actually going to start Zinchenko if it's a situation like there was this week and he's unable to play. He'll just get subbed out for Andreas, who's been, kind of ticking over from a minute standpoint. Mo, Rodrigo, and Martinelli in the middle, and then I'm going to be playing Tony, Haaland, and Gabriel Jesus up front. Now, I have a very big asterisk on my captaincy right now. I don't even think my vice captain is going to end up staying on Gabriel Jesus, to be honest. Right now I have captaincy on Haaland, and it's on Haaland for a couple of reasons. One, he just, of course, had his big return, but the X factor is going to be if Pep is going to play Alvarez, the new striker, who came on and, to be honest, looked very lively during the game. He actually ended up, I think his energy really helped City turn things around against Crystal Palace. It's very easy to see him starting and getting his first PL start against Nottingham Forest, who, City should be looking to take home 3 points from at home. Mm-hmm. Gabriel Jesus against Villa, I could also potentially see Eddie Nketiah getting the start here, strangely, just to give him a little bit of a breather, or, have Nketiah get a few more minutes. We'll see. For that reason, if I do swap my captaincy, I actually see me putting the armband on Mohamed Salah because he'll be getting his full 90 minutes. And the vice captaincy might actually roll over to Tony, because, again, Tony is another guy who I don't see not getting anything less than 80 plus minutes that game. So just for safety reasons, that could be the option that I switch over to there. For now, it's a little bit of a recency bias, just with what Mo did and what Haaland did last game week. But this is how we're currently set up. Outside of captaincy, I don't see there being any major changes unless some more Zinchenko news comes in, and I just put him to the bench. Bailey, who knows what's going to happen with him, and whether or not Steven's gonna actually start this guy for another game. And Nico Williams will be last on the bench as he's going to be going up against City. But that's how I'm currently set up. Feels good to actually have 11 men on the field, even though Zinchenko might be injured. So looking forward to see what the team can do come this coming game week.
Why did you sell Iverson instead of selling Ward for that extra 0.1?
I ended up selling Iverson instead, just because Ward is actually starting, and it's actually due to the potential. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but there's the potential that come game week 9, when Brighton play Liverpool at Anfield, that I might actually look to throw Ward in for that game, because he's going to be playing Nottingham Forest at home. It's a long shot. It's a long ways out. I'd have probably wildcarded by this point. If Iverson takes over the slot from here, then I could do a little bit of a switch there. But it's more so to just ensure that I had two playing keepers, and with one eye kind of in the future looking at game week 9.
Got you. I guess the reason why I asked that question is because I probably would have went the other way, knowing that I'm going to wild card at some point early on. I'm not concerned with having two playing keepers. I don't plan on using a bench boost at any particular time. I'm not particularly worried about a goalkeeper going down. It's very rare for a goalkeeper to go down and compare it. Not to say it's impossible. Of course it's possible.
Yeah,
but in
sure,
comparison, so that extra 0.1 million may have come in handy somewhere because Iverson already dropped in price. I'm just like, F it. Let me just kind of like Bailey. Like you've already dropped in price. Just sit on the bench.
Bailey, you have to go. I agree with what you're saying there. It's just more so I'm also thinking about whether or not I'm if my team is in a position where I don't need to wild card come game week 8, I'm not opposed to holding on to it for a couple of weeks time. That's
right.
That's something that I'm also keeping in the back of my mind. But Bailey, at this point, I consider Bailey a 4.5 mil player. He's going to sit on the bench.
Absolutely.
Even though he started at 5 mil, it's 0.5 that's down the drain. He's going to sit there until, something else happens or a wild card and actually am able to get him out. If he's getting a couple minutes a game as a bench player at this point in the season, it's good enough for me.
Right. Yeah, I got to agree there. The other comment that I was going to make was, so hold on. It was Tony. Fun fact about Tony, he seems to score in away games as opposed to the home games. So he's playing at Selhurst, and that might be an opportunity for him to then get on to the score sheet and kind of keep that streak that he started this season of scoring all of these away goals. So I kind of like your pick of putting the vice captaincy on him. Just in case the captaincy you don't get it right, maybe it stays on Haaland and the vice captaincy goes on Tony, and Haaland actually doesn't see the pitch because City are up 6-0. And this is like, there's no point we don't need to play you, have a full game rest, and next thing you know, Tony bags a brace. It would be nice because obviously I have him on my team too, so I would want to see that. But yeah, that's my comment there.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Definitely something I'm thinking about. The captaincy and the vice captaincy are going to get played with for sure. Not that there's much time because the games come in, and really just right around the corner. By the time this video is out, probably have maybe 24 hours or so. So definitely something I'm considering there for sure.
Might even be less.
Exactly. But that's how we're set up. That's the captaincy for game week 5.
So we've talked about our transfers that we're considering making. We've talked about obviously revealing our team and the captaincy on our particular team. But if it came down to players who we're not necessarily looking to transfer into our team, maybe we don't have the funds, maybe they just don't fit our formation for whatever reason, which player might you consider transferring in? Let me start off because I don't have him on my team and I'm not really looking to transfer him into my team at this particular moment. But if I could pick a player to transfer into my team moving forward from game week 5 onward, it's going to have to be Kulusevski. He's 8.2 mil. So it's a little harder for me to bring him into the team. But the reason why I would bring him in is quite simple. Son seems to be invisible at this particular moment. And if you have Kulusevski on your team, he already returned today. Hold. Obviously, don't be looking to get rid of him. If you have the means of bringing him in and you're not taking a hit for him, I wouldn't take a hit for him. He has West Ham coming up. He has Fulham coming up. And he has City, Leicester, Arsenal. I'm sorry. None of those 5 teams that I just mentioned seem to be doing a great job at keeping clean sheets. So I'm not too worried about him not getting an attacking return. That's just me from the perspective of a player who I might be looking to possibly bring in. The other player, again, doesn't really fit my particular team, but Trossard. And here's why. The biggest reason why I'd be looking into bringing somebody like Trossard is that partnership that he's having with Pascal Gross seems to be. I don't know if Pascal's going to do what he did back in like 2017, 2018. I have no idea when he scored like 100 plus points, whatever the case was. As a matter of fact, let me just bring that up. Past seasons, he scored 164 points 2017, 2018. Wow. Can he do that again this particular year? Maybe. But Gross is already at 13% ownership. That's why I didn't bring him up. I was kind of going with a bit of a differential. That's why I brought in Trossard, 2.5%. He's getting shots every single game, but it's the assists. At 6.5, he's more expensive than Pascal. Can he turn that around? I'm not 100% sure, but somebody to consider, especially with the fixtures that are coming up. Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth, Crystal. That's my take. Brian, do you have any particular players who you're not really looking to bring into your team, but for anybody who's watching, some different players outside of our teams? Anybody on your radar? Again, not for your team per se, but just somebody to say, hey, you might want to consider bringing in this person if they fit your team.
Yeah, no, I love the two you just mentioned there for sure. One player who kind of jumps out at me to consider further is Raheem Sterling. Playing for Chelsea, he's the target man. A lot of the offense seems to be flowing through him. He's at 9.9 right now, and his ownership is under 6%. So it's definitely in that differential category. He scored twice this most recent game week. One of them a deflected goal, and the other one was, his typical being open at the back post, right place, right time, getting the tap and finish. He's looking good offensively, I think, and he's all but guaranteed to be starting and getting minutes, barring injury or just needing a general rest. He's going to be one of the first names on the team sheet. Now, the other thing to add from an offensive standpoint for Chelsea is the transfer for Wesley Fofana seems to be just about completed now. And the big reason that I want to highlight that is it's actually going to force Reece James to now play in that right wing back role again, which is where he's most dangerous. Even you see from the second goal, Raz's second goal came from Reece James being on the right hand side, whipping in a ball in a dangerous area, and Raz at the back post, being able to tap it in. So he's one of those players, I think, that we're going to start to see a little bit of an upward turn for him. And I think he could be a very interesting pick moving forward. The other one is a little bit of I hope there's not too much recency bias, but every game that I've watched him play this season so far, I've been very pleasantly surprised, not only with how far forward he's playing, but how involved he is. And that is, I guess you could say that he's playing the center attacking mid position right now, even though he's really a center mid for Arsenal. Martin Odegaard. I mean, he is getting 90 plus minutes roughly per game. He had another big double-digit return. He's now had 3 goals on the season already. He's playing very far forward, but on top of that, he's also creating a ton of big chances. If you're watching, he's passing the eye test. If you're watching him, he's making a lot of those splitting run passes, and he's looking for players who are kind of cutting in and trying to get behind the defense. I think he's a very interesting pick. We'll see how he continues to tick over for the season, but he's one who, if I were perhaps weighing up versus maybe bringing in a Gabriel Martinelli versus Odegaard, if I didn't already have one of them in my team, I could actually see me going with Martin as a potential option.
I like that. Definitely like that. If we're kind of continuing on this trend, let's talk captaincy on that same topic. We already had a discussion of some of the obvious captaincy picks this particular game week. Mo Salah, Haaland, Jesus. I think they're always going to be in the conversation for captaincy options. Well, for us as well because they're on our team. So I think one of the obvious captaincy options coming up this particular game week that neither of us have on our team is going to be the likes of Harry Kane.
For sure.
Harry Kane is an obvious captaincy choice with respects to how he performed in this particular game week. I mean, he could have had three. Could have had a Hattie.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't meant to be, but he's shooting the ball at the end of the day. He is somebody I will never understand why any defender leaves him wide open when the ball is in the air. Please explain this to me. It's so hard for me to comprehend why players are not thinking. You can't leave a man as big and as much of an aerial threat as Harry Kane wide open. It's just going to end in disaster. Listen to these stats. In the last 2 game weeks, he's had 10 shots. 6 of them have been on target. 5 attempted assists. That's in the last 2 game weeks alone at 11.4 mil. It's kind of hard to say that he's a steal because it's how do you fit him into your team, right? I feel like the only way you could fit him into your team, you have to play 3 in the mid, right? Maybe 4 in the mid, 3 in the back. The structure is kind of hard if you want a premium midfielder. And I guess to really bring him in, you have to really restructure your team. But he's returned in his last 3 games. The only game he didn't return in was the Southampton game, and everybody got upset, and then they transferred him out because Haaland returned, and then everything changed. Lest we forget what Harry Kane has been able to do in the past seasons. Last year, 192 points. The year before that, 242 points. The year before that, 158 points, and then the year before that, 160 points. Now, obviously, the last 2 seasons in particular are the juicy ones, and he got off to a slow start last season. If Harry Kane has a 2020, 2021 season again, which he has had before, he's had 4 seasons of scoring over 200 points.
Yeah.
As a captaincy option, I got to put respect on Kane's name. I can't disrespect him anymore. Well, I shouldn't say anymore. There was just one particular game week where I was kind of shitting on him. He returned, but nothing crazy. Kane is a captaincy option. If you have him on your team, definitely somebody to consider putting the armband on, especially when they're facing a West Ham team who they didn't look great. You're not great just because you beat Steven Gerrard and
that wasn't a good game. Like I predicted, that was not a good game.
It wasn't worth the watch. I was upset watching it.
It wasn't worth the watch. Definitely a boring game. But yeah, no, Kane is definitely a great captaincy option. I mean, they got a good fixture against West Ham. Weird, we wouldn't be saying that last season, but that's how quickly things can change in the Premiership. Now, in terms of who I'd maybe look at, really the 2 fixtures that I'm really targeting when I'm looking at a different captaincy option, funny enough, is either going to be the fixture for Chelsea versus Southampton or the fixture for Leeds versus Everton. I'd maybe be looking at either captain and Sterling or taking a huge, and I can't emphasize this enough that this is a gamble. taking a potential gamble on Rodrigo
Mm.
and hoping that he does the business at home. It is a tall ask, but those are the two players that I would potentially be looking to captain. Rodrigo's on my team now, and I have better options, I think, that I'm looking at. So I don't want to throw his name out too much, but Raz is definitely the other one who I think is a potential option. Again, everything is flowing through Sterling. We just kind of touched on some stats for him. He scored a bunch of times versus Southampton. He has over 8 goals against them in the Premier League. And, you know, we've seen over the last, since he's been in the Premier League, we've seen him score multiple 20 plus return seasons, you know, between goals and assists. He's been doing it fairly consistently. He's getting the minutes now again. That's where I would put the armband on if I had him on my team.
Surprisingly, Rodrigo, I think that's a great option because, he's averaging almost 5 shots a game.
Per game, he is
That's
shooting. He is pulling the trigger at every opportunity. It's one of those sleeper captaincy picks that can really, change a season around. I don't know if I'm going to be brave enough to do it, but
mhm.
it's one that I definitely considered due to the fixture against Everton.
And especially when you have a goalkeeper like Pickford. He's terrible. He's so poor. I don't even understand how at any point in time he was England's number one. Like it literally boggles my mind. He is not a good goalkeeper. But hey, that's just my opinion. Definitely a juicy fixture if you have any Leeds assets.
Hey, no, I love it. I love it. We'll see how it gets on. Anything else you wanted to touch on before we close things out?
This week, folks, I apologize. There is no entire differential team, simply just not enough time to have a proper one prepared for you. Hopefully, that will return, but nothing else for me to wrap up. Bri, it's been dope having another chat. Close it off for us.
No worries at all. I mean, we definitely took some time to cover everything. We had to do a little bit of a switch up with the video here today and include, it's almost like an all for one, get a double special here, but want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you very much for tuning into the video. Please be sure to like, subscribe to our channel, turn your notification bells on, leave a comment on the video as well. You can also follow us on Twitter at UpYourRankFPL. Hope you enjoyed the game week, and we'll catch you at the end of the next one. Peace. Take care. Be sure to like and subscribe.